What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. If you haven't heard the news yet, let me break it to you. I am no longer on MGP Action Sports. I was on the team for like 8 years. It was my first ever sponsor. I was the first pro rider on Mad Gear. And I know to a lot of you it's been a really big deal. And I decided that I wanted to do a little Q&A where you could all ask me questions which you asked on my previous video of my world's first front flip rock solid on BMX bike. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go check it out. But yeah, today I'm going to do a Q&A of just some of the questions that you all asked me. So let me just start by saying, obviously, I'm Ryan Williams, aka Willie. I am 23 years old and I live on the Sunshine Coast. And I ride scooter and BMX professionally for Nitro Circus. And just to list a few of my sponsors, because some of you don't know who my sponsors are. For BMX, I'm sponsored by Hyper BMX and Snafu BMX. And obviously Nitro Circus is kind of my overall sponsor. They sponsor me for clothes, scooter, BMX, all that, like just to be in the show and wear the apparel, all stuff like that. I'm also sponsored by Kevlar, which you may think is like a material, but the actual brand makes the material, and it's like the brand is called what the material is called. So Kevlar also sponsors me. But let's get into the Q&A. There's a lot of questions that you guys asked, and obviously there's the big one, why I left Mad Gear, which I will answer, so do not worry. But let's get into the questions. First up, we have Phobic Whistle. How did you get into Nitro Circus? So I think it was about maybe 6 years ago now. I know I was 17 years old, so that is 6 years ago. I was just making videos on YouTube. Everyone knew me. I was obviously a pro scooter rider at the time. I had Webbit 2 out, so that was blowing up. And Nitro Circus, they wanted a few more scooter riders. So pretty much they called out to Scooter Hut, I believe, and asked for 3 more scooter riders. It was Max Peters, Mitch Broadry, and myself. We got flown down to Albury to ride a practice and the show if we were good enough. Sure enough, did practice. Managed to front flip the ramp. That was the first jump I did. And then in practice, I was hucking double front flips, and no one had ever tried double front flips on scooter before. And I tried 2 in practice, and then I got in the show, and I stomped the world's first double front flip on scooter in the show. And then from then on, I've been on the show. So that's how I got on Nitro Circus. All right, next up, we have Flips, Racing, and Gaming. Have you got any new big tricks in mind? I'm always thinking of new big tricks. Obviously, one thing that's really on my mind at the moment is trying to get into X Games, and that's not really about doing a new big trick. That's more so being able to ride the mega ramp and do my tricks on the mega ramp and do big tricks on the quarter pipe, which I am working on. But big tricks at Nitro Circus, obviously I just did the front flip rock solid, but I want to land a double backflip 720. That was a trick that I wanted to land for Webbit 3, but I got super close, didn't manage to pull it, but that's definitely one of the next big tricks that's on my mind. Liam Waters, how did you manage to stay riding for over a decade? Did you ever get bored? I feel like this is a really good question because obviously I've been riding so long now, and people, I guess, wonder how I stay motivated. Right now, like, I stay motivated by just the feeling of landing a new trick or learning something new. And then another thing motivating me a lot right now is just you at home, you watching this, everyone watching this, all my fans, they all encourage me, and like seeing your comments on my new tricks or a new video that I put out, that really motivates me to just keep pushing myself and just to be the best person I can be. But back in the day, I mean, maybe 5 years into riding, I know that like you hit a wall where it's super hard to learn new tricks because obviously you've progressed so much, and that's the thing, you learn all these like basic tricks really quick, but then you get to the advanced stuff and it's really hard, and the tricks take more than one try, and it's hard to do. But I think it's always just been the feeling of learning something new and like overcoming the fear of a trick and rolling away from it. That's always motivated me. And yeah, basically that's it. But I know that I have hit walls where I was like, oh, I don't really feel like riding today, I might do something else. But I've always got the best feeling out of riding, and that's why I've always rode, and I still have that feeling, so I'm going to continue riding. Next question from A+ Films. Hey Willie, this is for your Q&A. Will you still ride your Willie bars, and will MGP still sell them? Thanks heaps, hope this goes in a video. This is a really good question. I haven't been able to ask Mad Gear about this, but I know that they won't be able to sell my bars with my name on it. I don't mind if they still sell those bars. I hope they do, because I really like them and they're my favorite bars. But yeah, they're not going to be able to have my name on them. So I'm not sure if they'll change the name to something else and just bring them out the exact same. But I can't really answer that question for you, but fingers crossed. I mean, they keep selling them and they just call it something else, because obviously they can't have my name on it if I'm not on Mad Gear. My phone keeps recognizing my face to open. I don't know how much I like this iPhone X, but I'll get used to it. Tristan Shikowski? Sorry if I'm ruining your name, but are you street or park? I hate this question. This question is so stupid. I am just a scooter rider, or I am just a BMX rider. It doesn't matter if I'm riding the street or I'm riding park. But you could argue that I'm more park than I am street, but I just have as much fun in any situation. I mean, if there's a good street spot, I'm going to love riding it. If there's a good park, I'm going to love riding it. It doesn't really matter if you're at the street spot or a skate park, you're still just riding a scooter. So it doesn't really matter. Who cares what you ride? This next question is from Sean Austin. How did you get into scooter riding, and at what age did you start competing? So I used to ride rollerblades back in the day. Like, that's what I used to ride the skate park on first. And I think I was like 12 years old when I started borrowing my friends' scooters, and I would have to borrow their shoes as well. Because obviously I'm rollerblading to the skate park. I'm just a kid. I don't bring like a pair of shoes because I'm just rollerblading around. For me to borrow someone's scooter, I would have to borrow their shoes as well and hope that they fit my big feet. But yeah, pretty much I was 12 years old, and then I eventually bought my own scooter, and then yeah, from then on I've just been riding. So that's 11 years now, going on 12. It's a long damn time. Next question, Isaac McCormack. What is the hardest BMX and scooter tricks you've ever tried? I've looked up to you for 5 years, and you're the reason I got into scooters. Well, Isaac, I'm glad I could inspire you to ride scooters, but the hardest trick on BMX for me, I don't know. This one's hard. On BMX, it's all different. Like, I think that cash roll tower whip to oppo tower whip was really hard because I have to switch my feet. I've never done an oppo tower whip. There's a lot of things in that, but definitely the scariest and one of the hardest is the triple front flip. Like, the first time I ever did the triple front flip, it was so scary and so hard because it was just at Travis's on this big old like ramp to mulch, and I just didn't know if it was going to work or not. I didn't know how far I was going to go, and it was just a big production, so I was kind of nervous. But I managed to get it done, so I was stoked on that. And on scooter, I would 100% say the free willy or the backflip nothing front scooter flip, whatever you want to call it. There's just so many things going on, and kids always ask me at the show, they're like, are you going to do the free willy? And I'm like, there's no way. Like, I can try it, but it's like 1 in 100, this trick. It just doesn't work every time, and it's so hard to get consistent. And I don't really know if I'll ever do it again, but I'm sure I'll try. But the trick is just so damn hard. Next question. What do you like better, scootering or BMX? By Cedar Davey. For me, it depends. I mean, if all my friends are riding BMX, then I'm going to prefer to ride a BMX at the skate park. And then if all my mates are riding scooter, then I'll prefer to ride a scooter. It just depends on who I'm hanging out with and what I feel at the time. But you know what? If I'm by myself at the skate park, most of the time I'm going to pick up a scooter just because I feel like there's more tricks that I can do on it, and it's a little bit safer, especially if you're just riding by yourself. Obviously, I've been riding it for 12 years, so I'm most comfortable on a scooter at the skate park. So if I had to choose any, I have to choose scootering. I'm sorry. Just because I've done it the longest, it's the funnest. Next up, Jaha Scoots YouTube. What was your favorite part about being sponsored by MGP? For me, the best part about being sponsored by MGP was hanging out with the other team riders and going on tours. That was 100% the best thing, like being able to tour the world with your mates and just ride scooters at different skate parks, all the best skate parks to add. It was just a dream come true for me, and I never thought it would ever happen, but it just did, and it became not only my hobby, but my living, and that was obviously the best part about being sponsored by MGP. Oh, this is a really good one. Adam Bryn, how does it feel to pee blood? What a great question. It kind of just feels normal. Except it looks like a massacre and it's really scary. But I've done it twice now, so I'm used to it. but I don't want it to happen anymore. But yeah, it just feels like you're peeing normally. And then, yeah, it's just really, really gross. I mean, yeah, geez, that was a weird question, but thanks. All right, Josh T, if you weren't a pro scooter rider, BMXer, what would you be? It's a good question because I actually finished school. I completed grade 12. I applied for uni and I got accepted to be a civil engineer. How boring, right? But then I deferred, so that's where you like choose to take a break for a year and do something else. And I was currently doing Nitro Circus at that time, and basically I chose Nitro Circus over civil engineering. And I'm very happy that I did because I'm loving my life, and I mean, I'm probably earning more than I would if I was a civil engineer, depending on what I was building, I guess. But yeah, stay in school, kids, because it helps. Crank it up. What kind of trouble do you go through when you walk through your hometown and lots of people stop by and ask for signatures when you're in a hurry? I hope you could answer this question. Thanks, Willie. Always crank it up, but this is a weird one. I do get stopped here and there, but I'm never really in a hurry, I don't think. So I don't really worry about it. I mean, I used to be one of you too. Like, I used to be one of those kids that would, if they see in their idol, they want to get a signature photo, it's going to mean so much to them. So for me to just stop and take 10 seconds out of my day, I don't really mind. It's fine. When I'm trying to trick, like mid-trick, maybe I'm like 50 tries into something and I'm trying to film it and a kid's like, can you sign this? Most of the time I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to sign it, otherwise I feel like I'm going to crash or something bad's going to happen to me. So that's one time that it kind of like, I'm like, oh, please just let me learn this trick. Sometimes I'm like, I'll just try a few more times and then I'll sign it. But most of the time I really don't mind. It's fine. Come up to me. If you see me, come say hello, get a signature, a photograph. I don't mind. I love it. All right. What is your biggest fear you never want to happen? Nick Seddon. This is a weird one for me. People are like, usually like, my fear is heights. My fear is spiders. My fear is disease because you can't stop it. It's scary. How bad? It's like kind of morbid that I say that, but that's honestly like one of my biggest fears is disease. The thing you love most about what you do, Shifty Music. One of the things I love most now about what I do is being able to inspire people around me. I like knowing that I can push other people to be the best that they can be. And that's something that I really inspired me about Travis Pastrana, because when I was around Travis Pastrana, he would just inspire me to try to do better and be the best I can be. And I want to be like that. I want to be the person that can bring the best out of the people around them. And that's what I really inspire to be now. We're getting through them. Last one before the big one. Oh no, that was the last one. All right, now it is time for the question you have all been waiting for. Look at them all. Look how many people ask this question. But why did I leave MGP Action Sports after 8 years of awesome times? And I couldn't thank them enough for the times that they've given me. And they've obviously been with me through everything. I mean, we did the SD tour, which was so long ago now. I think nearly 8 years ago. It was the first tour I've ever been on, and it was overseas to America. The first time I've ever been to America. It was an epic time. We made an epic video, and it was one of the most memorable moments in my life. It's been 8 years now. I made the Willy bars, I made the signature wheels, and I kind of just want to take the next step in my career. Mad Gear, they're awesome, they're amazing, and I really love the scooters. I'd probably ride it the rest of my life and be really happy. But for me, I just want a new chapter in my life. I want something new, something fresh. I want to make my own scooter or something like that. And the opportunity has come up where I get the chance to make something the exact way I want it. It's just a big step, and I really want to do it. And I wish that I could announce what was happening, and like I will be able to within like 2 weeks. You'll know what is happening next. But basically, I left Mad Gear on good terms, and it was just because of this next big step that I'm taking that I need to part ways with MGP. Obviously, I've talked to them. The feeling is mutual. They don't mind. They understand that I'm taking that next big step, and it's hard for them to keep up. They can't really keep up with what I'm doing now, and they respect that I have to move on to bigger and better things. And I don't know, this is super hard for me. This is super weird, you know. It's been 8 years of my life has been with Mad Gear. They are like my family, and they still feel like a family, but I just am moving on to something else. And it's super weird to me because I've just always been with Mad Gear, but I guess it's something new, and I'm super excited. I'm nervous, but I can't wait to announce what I'm doing, and when I do, you will all understand why I've had to move on. But that will be in a future video. So yeah, to answer it short, I just couldn't stay with them because what I'm moving on to next would be conflicting with MGP, and obviously you realize that I am making my own thing, kind of. Like, it's attached with something else, but I'm the brains behind this next scooter, and that's really important to me. But I will be announcing who the scooter is being made by in the future. I was going to announce it in this video, but they're like, let's hold off. We want to be ready for you to announce it. So I'm holding off, unfortunately, but it will be coming in a video soon. And I'm sure if you just go back, look at some of my previous videos, look at my Instagram, you're going to figure it out yourself. But I'm just going to leave that with yous and move on to what I'm going to do next. So I'm really liking these Q&As, and I feel like a lot of you don't really know exactly who I am, or like you don't know everything about me. So I want you to ask more questions in the comments below, and I'm going to do another legit as Q&A next week. And you can be featured just like the people that ask questions this week. If you want to be featured, you want your question featured, make sure you go down, comment your questions, and I'll get you back next week and you might be in the video. But if you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed Q&As, make sure you smack the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe if you've liked hearing what I'm saying or you want to see more of me writing. And thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good day. See you in my next video.